around about 8:20 talking to the Deputy Mayor of Mariupol, who was describing the horrific situation there, and we know that the southern city on the coast is effectively still under siege and the centre of intense fighting. Power and water supplies have been cut off. Meanwhile, residents in Kherson have told us there is an eerie corner which has been taken over by Russian forces. It's still the only city to be sort of officially under Russian control.
Footage has emerged of devastation in the town of Borodyanka, which is northwest of Kiev, which shows apartment buildings ripped apart. And meanwhile, outside Kiev, BBC received Ukrainian volunteers in the countryside digging trenches to stop the advance of that huge Russian military column, which appears to have stalled, hasn't really moved. It's about 30 kilometres from the city.
Now, there is still some kind of diplomacy going on. Russian and Ukraine negotiated back at an undisclosed location on Thursday. They are reported to have agreed to the possibility of temporary local ceasefire and organised humanitarian corridor. But I think there's a lot of people know that terrifically well, and all the papers destroyed the anti-Russia creative by the West, and he said in an address on state television that his special military operation was going according to plan and that Ukraine is range.
We're going to hear from a couple who travelled by land to pick up their niece to try and bring her to safety after her parents decided to stay behind in Ukraine to fight. But also two young Ukrainian volunteers who've just married in Kiev, dressed in their combat gear. Correspondent in Kiev, James Waterhouse. And what do you tell us from there?
Well, it's been a dreadful morning. Quite sustained shell explosions around 10 or 15 kilometres away to the northeast. Very much sounding like a thunderstorm, to be honest with you. And the obvious worry is if that's happening on the outskirts, then it feels like that it's felt that loud and that far away. You try to think what would transpire should those that kind of targeting make its way further into Kiev, which is what we are seeing, continuing to see, as you say, Mariupol. We are continuing to see Kharkiv. We've seen some very disturbing alternatives to the north, residential city, produced from very much getting people worried here. The streets once more are quiet. The worry overnight was, of course, the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. That is now secure. The mayor of nearby Energodar described seeing about Russian convoy of around 100 vehicles moving in and shooting during the last few days of this war. Residents, people standing in the roads, waving defiant, heavily armed invasion. I think we're calling person yesterday the first major city to fall after 8 days of fighting. It represents a significant strategic grab by Russian troops, because we saw yesterday large Russian naval ships move towards Odessa, where we are from. Great nightlife. It now finds itself under attack. Then you move further east, you have Mariupol southeast, and what is happening? You have this sizable Russian advance from Crimea. They are now moving across the second person, moving on Mariupol, past Mariupol. Stay a long time. The worry for the future is that those troops will link up. They are the link up the advanced troops. Come down towards Kiev and effectively put the country under a stranglehold. That is the worry. And Kiev nervously waits, because ultimately it is the biggest prize for
there is no excuse for not quickly seizing the UK assets of Russian oligarchs following the invasion of Ukraine. But the government says it wants to ensure its needs are taken into account far more than by wide reliance on oligarch the ambassador, affairs correspondent, and former Moscow correspondent. Morning, Daniel. So, start very simply. Why do Russian oligarchs have so much money? Companies rose to their real value and essentially controlled this enormous country's mineral and oil resources, and that's how the first group of oligarchs got very, very rich. They effectively ran the Delta for a while. But then a second group of oligarchs, which are essentially friends, schoolboy, these people try and move their money to next? Any idea?
Well, you have to remember they have the most enormous array of very highly paid financial advisors and lawyers, both in London and also all the way around the world. So they will find wherever they think it's safest place to move those bits of money that they can still use for those people who haven't been frozen yet, or they've got bits of the territories where it's not been frozen. And I think at the moment the signs are that a lot of that money is going east. So China and Hong Kong, and also into those offshore territories that they feel might be safe. So there's, we've seen the yachts going off to the Maldives, various sort of other Pacific islands where people feel they might be safe. I think one of the biggest problems that they have is a lot of huge amounts of money in Cyprus, and it would be, I think some of them would find it very difficult now to access that wealth. So I think simple answer, probably China and Hong Kong.
Thanks very much, Daniel. Very interesting. Daniel Sanford, Home Affairs correspondent and former Moscow correspondent, 654.
Bringing you a little bit of news from back here in the UK. You might have seen that the former Defence and Education Secretary Gavin Williamson has been knighted. Quite a few eyebrows have been raised over that, given that he's a man who was sacked by 2 prime ministers. This is the reaction from Bob, who was in reply to me on Twitter this morning. What next? A Nobel Peace Prize for Putin, which gives you a sort of sense of how some people feel about this. But you can share your views on that if you have a different one. Feel free, 85058. So there's quite a lot of conversation around that this morning. Other bits of news, all remaining COVID restrictions in Wales going to be lifted on the 28th of March. Face coverings will no longer be required in shops. Healthcare settings on public transport.
And Labour have held the seat of Birmingham Erdington in the by-election following the death of Jack Dromey. Paula Hamilton won the slightly reduced majority of more than 3,200 votes.
Just briefly, Michael Caine is downsizing. So he's sold off a load of his, rubbish. Yeah. For a total value, ultimately. Well, a Rolex for a start, a couple of works of art, a director's chair from Get Carter, film posters. Made £847,000. Wow. I was just thinking about the last time I went to a puzzle sale.
That is a great episode of Fashion.
Yeah.
They should have got on that.
They really should.
You've dropped the ball, guys.
Last time I went to the puzzle, we made about 100 quid. I was quite pleased with that.
Decent.
Yeah, no, it is really. So let's also talk about neighbours now, shall we? I mean, you can't have failed to miss this. In fact, it was previewed quite long before it happened when Channel 5 dropped out. But Neighbours is definitely going to be no more, coming to an end this summer after 37 years. The Channel 5 said they weren't going to invest in it anymore, and that left a huge funding gap. Writing on the official Twitter account for the show, producers said they were so sorry but had no option but to rest the show. Phil Chapman is a comedian and super fan of Neighbours, and has even made a 16-bit computer animation of Scott and Charlene's wedding. Wow, Phil.
That's above and beyond.
Yeah, sad day for you, eh?
Yep, hello. It's good to be on here. I was listening to your last guest there. I don't want to get involved in any sort of political conflict, but there's an answer there. If you're seizing oligarchs' assets, why not use them to purchase the shop?
Well, I mean, that's an alternative.
Not a lot of people calling for that at the moment.
No, but still is. And why, Phil? Why?
Leading the charge.
Why would you pump your millions into such a show if you had them?
Oh, it's such a good show. Everyone who watches it gets 1.4 million views. So people still do watch it, and it's watched all around the world. So why not? What an investment it would be to bring in happiness to millions on a daily basis.
It is still good, because this is one of those things where I hear the news and I do feel sad, but also I have to acknowledge I haven't watched it for 20 odd years. I used to love it, really love it, but I have no idea if the show is
good at not spoiling things for you. Bit of an agreement there, an agreement with everyone.
The question to you and also to Rachel, favourite character of all time?
My favourite character of all time? I've got to say, Darcy Tyler was one of my all-time favourites, the Evil Doctor. And I did love Andrea and Dee, who was Dee versus like Tony second.
Yeah.
First wife, sorry. And she came back from the dead.
So Toby was my absolute favourite.
Harold came back from the dead as well.
They all come back from the dead.
Not Harold.
Yeah.
Thank you,
But that was
Phil.
great.
Really
Yeah,
nice
okay.
to talk to you. All the best.
Yeah.
We'll see where
Thank
your
you.
appeal for funds gets to. Phil Chapman, superfan at Neighbours.
Coming up after 7, heavy shelling and fighting by Russian forces in Ukraine causes a fire at Europe's largest nuclear plant, and people in the port city of Mariupol in the south of Ukraine have lost power and water after heavy Russian shelling. We'll bring you the latest from Ukraine in just a few moments.
The voice of the UK, 5 Live Breakfast.
Rachel Burden and Rick Edwards.
Good morning, these are your headlines. President Zelensky has accused Russia of resorting to nuclear terror after its forces fired on Europe's biggest nuclear power station.
Europe must wake up now. Europe's largest nuclear power plant is on fire, right now. Russian tanks fire on nuclear units. These tanks are equipped with thermal imagers, so they know where they're shooting. They were preparing for it.
Fires at the Zaporizhia plant in the southeast of Ukraine are now out. Radiation levels are said to be within a normal range. Boris Johnson has called Russia's actions reckless. Downing Street says the Prime Minister will ask for an emergency UN Security Council meeting to be held in the coming hours. Daniel Carman is a professor of nuclear engineering at Berkeley University.
The one thing that's an absolute no-go to conduct military operations of nuclear power plants just simply doesn't make sense. And so this is really kind of an affront to all reasonable operations of energy facilities. It's hard to express the degree of outrage that one should feel over such an attack.
In the port city of Mariupol in southern Ukraine, people are without power and water supply for a second day because of the Russian shelling. In the north, Chernihiv and Kharkiv have again come under fire, while there are reports the city of Sumy has been surrounded by Russian troops. Olga is there with her grandparents.
It's more scary than it was before. I heard some explosions, maybe 3, and it was too loud and even, like shaking. I feel, for now we have no light, no power now.
In other news, all remaining COVID restrictions in Wales are to be lifted at the end of the month. The Welsh Government will also publish a plan later setting out how people can live safely with coronavirus. Here's our Wales correspondent, Hal Griffith.
While ministers stress that the virus has not gone away, they have set a target date for ending the few rules that remain. On the 28th of March, the use of face coverings will no longer be required in shops, healthcare settings and on public transport. On the same day, the legal requirement to self-isolate after a positive COVID test will end, provided pressure on the NHS continues to drop.
And Labour have held on to the seat of Birmingham Erdington in a by-election called following the death of Jack Droney. Paulette Hamilton, a nurse, won with a majority of just over 3,000, with the Conservatives second.
Chris Latcham's got our sport this morning. Morning, Chris.
Morning, Rick. Ukraine have asked to postpone their men's World Cup playoff semi-final against Scotland later this month. Football in Ukraine is suspended by war. It's understood Scotland will be happy to do whatever Ukraine needs over that fixture. Last night, Ukrainian Vitaly Mykolenko captained Everton as they knocked non-league Boreham Wood out of the FA Cup. Rory McIlroy had a great opening night at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. 7 under par 65, he leads the way. And there's a brilliant game of cricket developing in the Women's World Cup opener down in New Zealand. West Indies have set 260 to win. New Zealand, the hosts, are 136 for 4. They need 124 runs from 119 balls. On sports section.
If you want a small smile this morning, there's a lovely picture of a kid who went to school dressed as Joe Marler yesterday for World Book Day. Yes, Marler has written a book. He's there with a big beard and a sort of sleeve tattoo, looking really grumpy and cross. It's just lovely.
What's Joe Barber's book?
A book about himself, of course. Well, they all do, don't they? I mean, no disrespect. Time for the weather. Staff can tell us what's going on.
Good morning to you, Rachel. We've got high pressure building across the country. Things down
how you're all doing. Every single front page of the UK newspapers this morning focused on the words of Vladimir Putin yesterday. The son called him an extreme gangster, but the worst is yet to come are the ones that make the front pages of many of the other papers. That was in a conversation he had with President Macron yesterday. And he also gave a speech to the Russian people in which he showed that he is absolutely defiant in his intentions to, as he puts it, demilitarize Ukraine. This is the translation.
I would never
spoken to your sister. How's the family?
Yeah, she's not doing well. She was on the train near the main train station Kiev. She's saying she thought, well, they all died with everything. There was about 300 people in one coach. When the train came to a stop, everyone just went flying everywhere, like Kiev, lights. People so upset that they had to fly on the floor without lights. Because it was shut for about an hour and a half. And she said they all killed the guy and abused the guy. Yeah, so she's not doing well. She's not even picked up the hospital yesterday. So, well, Tuesday, Saturday, before the plane.
Why has your sister decided not to come with you?
Well, because her husband had a case and he was a bit like down. I hope she'll come at a later date, but I don't know, she just has the mindset that, no, if my family has to stay and we have to help out somehow, but me personally, I can't see how she can help out. It's just, possible to do anything. Well, man can, but what can she do? Unless she's going to join the army, but she says yes.
And how is Sophia doing?
Yeah, well, she's okay. She has some friends left behind, and she takes to them, and, they constantly sit in bomb shelters and stuff, so she knows, and she also uses social media, which I'm not sure if I have to maybe stop her sometimes. She uses social media, and sometimes she tells me news before I even know, so she knows what's happening.
I'd say she's displaying classic signs of shock, very quiet at times, not much emotion, to be perfectly honest.
And what stage are you at with the visa application? What's happening?
Well, the visa application, we originally put in a visa application before we left for a holiday visa because the immediate family, Sophia didn't qualify. Obviously now it's changed, but when we put the application in, she didn't qualify. So we had to go down the holiday route, which I think is a little bit comical, if you could say that. But anyway, so they were at the point where we were quite far in. We were at the point of getting the biometric stuff, which has to be done by Sophia, basically. It's photos, fingerprints. Now obviously that was planned by us originally for Kiev, but the embassy moved to Lviv for obvious reasons. They went to Lviv, and then what happened was the application failed because there was an online error with the system. You had to select a time slot for our application to appear on their system. That's where the problem rose, as there was no time slot available for any 4 years time. I think I went month by month. There was no time slot. So we spoke to the embassy, the British embassy there, and they said without that appearing on their system, they were unable to do anything. What they done. Now, thankfully, they had a quick and we met up with Sophia, and the following day we went to the embassy in Warsaw, where we went in to complete the biometrics. When we went in there to complete the biometrics, we were sort of told a mixture of things. Part of it's sort of the language difference, I suppose, and it was that first of all, you get what's called a GWF number, and it was said, two things were said. One was they couldn't find their registration, even though we've got the email sort of copy outside of, we've done everything right. But then it was also said that they couldn't transfer the information from one embassy to another, so we had to start from scratch. The lady there, I've got a
thought that we were processing, you know, that application, and then obviously it all fell apart on the Wednesday morning when we turned up at this Warsaw embassy, and she was very helpful. She said, you need to go this route. This route is quicker for you and it's better for you.
So what are your hopes for the coming days? How, assuming that you get Sophia to the UK with you, how long do you think she'll be able to stay with you?
How long do you think she can stay with us?
Yeah. How and
she can stay with us indefinitely. She's family. So as far as we're concerned, as long as needed.
Well, hopefully it will calm down and she can meet up with the parents, because I cannot see both of the parents coming. So if she needs to stay, she can stay.
Well, obviously the hope is always that this war ends, this terrible war ends, and normal life can resume, and everybody can meet up. But you know, we all want to meet, or anybody, you know, friend or whoever.
Well, really nice to speak to you both this morning, and I hope that you get the visa stuff sorted with Sophia and take her back.
Yeah, can I just add one thing before we go off?
Yeah.
Obviously, being over here